Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be starting my book review series. I'll be doing book reviews on witchy books, both fiction and nonfiction. And the first book in our nonfiction series is the Book of Witchy Wellbeing by Cerridwen Greenleaf. Cerridwen is an accomplished author and witch. She's written well over 22 books, I believe. I think that's, yeah, that sounds right. It might be a few more, but it's definitely more than 22 books. I've got about 5 of hers. I love her writing style, number one. Her writing style is clear enough that a beginning witch or practitioner will not be confused by the recipes or the spells that are in the book, but a more advanced practitioner will find new things that they may have not already known. With all of my books, I read them cover to cover. I do not skim. I go in depth with them, and then I talk about the book. So I don't just skim them quickly. I actually do read them full on. This book looks at different tips, recipes, spells, rituals that one can do to bring more peace of mind and more clarity to one's life, which, given our current state of affairs in the country I live in the United States, we can need all the peace of mind we can get. So I thought what I would do is we would go over the book and I would look at each chapter and highlight one specific spell or ritual in each chapter that I really liked. And I'll talk about why I liked it and where you can find it in the book, what page it is on. So the Book of Witchy Wellbeing came out in 2021, and I purchased this myself brand new. I will be putting an Amazon link below so you can access it if you would like to find out more. Highly recommend the book. So the first chapter that is in the book is Happy, Healthy You. And the first spell that really stuck out to me here was a Sandana ritual. Now, Sandana is actually the Sanskrit word for sandalwood. I love the smell of sandalwood. I'm actually wearing sandalwood right now. It smells wonderful. It brings clarity, and it's just a really earthy smell that I love. And now in this one, it talks about combining essential oils with a brown candle, anointing that candle, and then you ask for peace, which I think it's one of the easiest spells in the book. Absolutely. You will need probably a double boiler for this, but I think you could probably work around that with just a regular pot. Definitely not one that you would use for food use after, but one strictly for rituals. The next chapter is all about creating an altar. For those who may not be a seasoned practitioner, an altar is a space where one can go and really tap into their energy, give connection to a deity or an angel that they're working with. And it's somewhere we can go to be at one with our practice. One thing I loved in this chapter, which this was on page 32. Yeah, they do a Flowers of Fortune altar enchantment. What I like here is you actually use it with fresh flowers that are yellow. They do give four different flowers you could use. However, I think any yellow flower would work in this case. You would need a birthstone of yours. And there's different ones you can choose from. So and you need a photo of yourself, which, yeah, very easy to do. Highly recommend that. I will be doing that later. The third chapter is the time-tested tonics. Different things you can ingest, like teas and tinctures. The one that I really loved was the cider that's listed on page 58. Yes, Pomona's Mulling Magic Hot Cider. First off, it just sounds amazing, and it sounds very easy to make this mulled hot cider. And what I love, too, is you're also praising the goddess Pomona. And Pomona, she is great for working with protection. She's great for women's issues. There's a lot about her I don't know. I need to investigate this particular deity more, but I feel she needs more mentioning. And uh, yeah, and the recipe to make the cider, very easy. Anyone can do it. You just need um, a pot and the ingredients and a muslin bag. So it's going to be, you're going to add the spices in a mulled bag. But once again, very easy. Anyone can follow it. The next chapter would be chapter 4, and that's about kitchen alchemy and all types of ways we can incorporate kitchen witchery into our lives. The recipe recipe that I really liked in this was, believe it or not something you ingest, but something you put on your face. She gives a list of 4 different facial masks you can make from ingredients you could actually buy at a farmer's market. They're very simple. They're very easy. That is on page 67. And the one that I really like, that I have not tried it yet, but I will, is the blackberry cream mask. And you use blackberries and yogurt, and it's supposed to really help to make your skin glow. Also, if you work with the Fae at all, the Fae love blackberries, so this can help increase your connections with them as also. Now, of course, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical practitioner of any kind. Neither is the author. So if there's like an allergic reaction you have to anything in the book, just, mind that with caution. For example, there is a strawberry facial mask they include in here. Now, if you're allergic to strawberries, obviously you're not going to want to use that one. But I definitely want to try the blackberry one. They also give a list for a peach one and an avocado one. Now, these things might be a little messy, but from what I can tell in the book, they sound like they have really good results. But I have not actually tried this myself. That is chapter 4. Chapter 5 is all about plants and flowers and herbs, and it's called Growing Blessings. And in chapter 5, this was great. She talks about cleansing the soil. Oftentimes we use the soil itself to cleanse or to bury something for spell work, but should the soil be cleansed before we do any of that? And I feel if you're going to grow stuff like a plant, or if you're doing like a abundance spell where you grow wishes and you have to bury something, then yes, I think the soil needs to be cleansed. Absolutely. Here, it's very easy. You'll need a piece of obsidian. It's called the Cleansing Conjuration, and that is on page 74. You'll need Palo Santo incense, a fireproof dish, nothing that's too hard to find, and you also need rosemary, which rosemary is great for warding off protection, and it tastes really good too, so it's great for kitchen witchery as well. But yeah, this is very easy. She calls in the gods and goddesses and guardian spirits. You, of course, can alter the spell any way you want, but it's one of my favorites in the book, absolutely. The next spell that I like is from chapter 6, and that's the Essences of Wellbeing. So this looks more at aromatherapy and different essential scents. So this one's all about finding your celestial essence. She has a list here of different scents that correspond with one's astrological sign. Now, you could use this for your sun sign, you could use it for your moon sign, for your rising sign. I think any of this would be good. I'm a Virgo myself, and for Virgo, she mentions a few. However, sandalwood, which I love, as we've already talked about, is under my rising sign, which is Cancer. But it's a really cool, like, quick, at a glance thing that one can look at to find scents that will correspond with your astrological sign. She also gives lots of other different essential oil recipes and other aromatherapy tactics that one can use in this book. The next chapter, chapter 7, is all about sacred self-care stones. I love working with gems and crystals, it's one of my favorite things. In chapter 7, she talks about the stones of self-care, specifically on page 120. She only mentions 3 on this page, but there are lots of different stones that are good for different types of self-care. But the ones she mentions here are labradorite, malachite, and rose quartz. I love all 3 of these. Labradorite's probably one of my favorites, if not the favorite stone. And I'll let you glance at the book itself because there's so many great things that she writes in here about all 3 of the stones. She also mentioned a few stones later in the chapter that I had never heard of before, and I really liked that. Yeah, one thing that surprised me was, I believe it was yellow selenite, which I usually work with white selenite. I've not worked with yellow, so I'm intrigued to add that to my gemstone collection. And then last but not least, Pagan Prayers for Self-Healing. That's chapter 8. And many of them are very classic spells. There's a really good banishing ritual on page 130. There's a smudging spell on page 131. There's a number of different things that I liked in here. Probably the thing that stood out to me the most, though, was on page 133, and that was finding your animal totems. And you can choose one based on animals you like, or you can choose one based on what their specialty is. I personally love cats. I have 2 house cats myself. They might make an appearance here on one of my videos. But cats in the book are all about magic, the unknowable, autonomy. And then from elsewhere, they're great for mystery and magic. One of my favorite movies is Constantine, and Keanu Reeves says in the movie that, cats are in both worlds, and I definitely feel that is true. In short, if you're looking for a great book at any level of your practice, I definitely recommend the Book of Witchy Wellbeing. Also, if you want to find out more about Cerridwen Greenleaf, she has a great blog that I highly recommend. As of the taping of this, she just came out with a little blog post all about birthstones and how they came about, and what birthstone corresponds with what month. Which I found it fascinating, and once again, her writing's very easy, it's very concise. I will put a link to the blog post and the blog itself down below. Once again, friends, thank you so much for coming by, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.